Okay, so we're going to be going through some things on this Honda HRC mower that we just bought on Facebook Marketplace. The old owner has owned it for 15 to 20 years, he said, and just recently, as of last season, it started running for about 5 minutes or so, and it will shut off. When it shuts off, it'll start right back up again. And when I first started hearing the issue, something came to mind, and I'll bring that up for you guys here in just a minute. But he said that he had just put its second carburetor on it, an older gentleman, and he's just done fooling with it. This is a Honda HRC. It's actually in really good shape. Like, there's still good tread on the tire. He was the only owner of it, and he used it on his residential house. It wasn't used commercially or anything like that. And so there's a few things that come to mind. One specifically when he talks to me about this problem, and that is some suction or a clogged gas cap. And so that was my first thought when we bought it from him. He had already bought another mower and just wanted to get rid of this one. So first thought was a clogged gas cap. We've actually gone through and checked that. I've got another HRC that runs great, and so I swapped the caps, cleaned out the old cap. We're still having an issue with not getting enough fuel. And so upon further investigation, I found out a couple things, and I want to share those with you guys. So another thing that I want to talk to you about is this. And as you can tell, this is a fuel filter. I've had it just sitting in this glass jar for a minute. This fuel filter was on the mower in line, and this fuel filter was on the line in the mower, and it was just replaced when he replaced the new carburetor. And in a bag of parts, he gave me another fuel filter that was replaced, that he had replaced on it. And I didn't think anything of it, other than it's clean, it's a new fuel filter, that's not the problem. However, under further investigation and looking at my other Honda HRC, there's no fuel filter on it. This one's a little bit different year, so I thought, well, maybe they just added these at some point. Long story short, I got to the conclusion that none of these that I can find have a fuel filter on it. I called my parts guy at Honda, and he says that there's not even anything in any of the parts list that list a fuel filter. So a couple things. First of all, we're going to remove the fuel filter, because when we detach the fuel line from the carburetor, it just slowly drains. Like it's hardly even a drip that's coming out of it. So there's some kind of restriction somewhere. Don't know if it's the fuel filter or if it's further up in the tank. But if they didn't have one from the factory, we're not going to put one back on it, and we're also going to check for any hindrance in the line further up. Here's another thing that I want to show you. This is the fuel line that came off of the mower. I can hardly bend this. I mean, it is just as hard as a rock. So that's something that you guys may consider over time, is just, even though your fuel line maybe isn't leaking, if you're in there for maintenance, this stuff is super cheap. You can go ahead and just replace it. This is new fuel line, and as you can tell, it's as bendable as can be versus this. And I can also squeeze it super easily. It's a lot more flexible. So we're just gonna go ahead and replace the whole line, and we're not gonna put a filter back in place. So there's a few things that we wanna do here. First off, we wanna drain the rest of the fuel out of the tank that's in there. I've got the cap removed here just so that it can vent. And then I have just a pegboard. It's what I had close by at the time when I pulled this out. So I've got this clogging the line. So we're gonna let the rest of this gas drip out into this glass jar. We'll get the tank like basically completely emptied. And then we wanna clear this line with an air hose to make sure that we've got good flow before we put that new gas line on. So we'll go ahead and just let this drain. As you can see, it's pretty hard to see, but we're barely even getting drips out of this thing. I mean, it is such a slow drip. We want a much nicer flow, and there's a decent amount of fuel in the tank as well. We'll let all this drain out, and then we'll get to blowing through the gas tank with an air hose. So we've let the majority of the fuel run back through, and I've got it out of the system. So now I'm just going to take the lead that we have off of this, and I'm just going to slowly put some air through it. I don't want to blow a ton through because I don't want to make a mess, but we're just going to push some air through it in the opposite direction, see if there's anything plugged up. Now, one thing that we can do too is we can throw this cap on, and we can test to see how much air this cap is allowing it to breathe, to make sure that we're able to get the flow out from it as well. So as you can tell, that cap is breathing, so I think we're good to go. We'll pull this old gas line off and get the new one replaced. So unfortunately, we got the wrong size fuel line. This one is definitely a little higher quality, but a little bit larger as well. We should be able to get it on pretty easily. We're gonna slide it on from this backside just like we did the last one, and snake it through all these places. I'm gonna make sure we get our hose clamp. If I can get it on without the pliers, that's a plus. If we have to use the pliers, that's okay too. Slide our clip back on there. Okay, so now we have got that fuel line connected. We're gonna go ahead and pull the gas cap off and fill her up with fuel. One thing I'd like to check, just because I'm a curious guy, is we're gonna put some fuel in it. We'll pull the fuel line off and see if it's flowing a lot better than what we had before. It should be, but you just never know. So there's no fuel in here. We're not going to put a ton of fuel in it right now, at least. I really am curious if we have better flow on this now. So let's go ahead and pull this gas line off and see how it's flowing. Oh, that is much better. Yep. Another thing that I want to check is throwing the gas cap on here. And with that thing closed, do we still get good flow? We are getting significantly more flow. That gas cap is on. This I am super satisfied with. One thing that's nice is if there was any junk that got moved around, hopefully we're gonna just blow it out by letting this run for a minute. But I am really satisfied with that over the flow we had before. Okay, so we've let it sit up where all the oils ran back in. We're gonna go ahead and choke it, and we'll get it started, and then we'll let it run, see if it runs out of fuel. And we'll probably, it's raining today, we're not gonna mow, but we'll report back on if that fixed our long-term, long-run, high idle problem as well. Okay, so obviously we're running this a little higher than idle, so we might not know if at higher RPMs that this fully fixed the problem or not. It's wet outside, we're not gonna mow, but I think we're in good shape. So I'll report back in the comments if this fixed our long-term issue or not, or longer running issue or not. But guys, thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments and I will get to them as quickly as possible. But for now, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again on the next one.